Hey, I'm Justin.
I'm Ed.
And I'm Josh. We are the Glitch Mob, and today we're going to be explaining Auto Machine's Biscuit plugin.
So today we're going to be looking at the Auto Machine's Biscuit plugin made in partnership with Softtube. And at the core of it, it's an 8-bit bit crusher and distortion box with a multi-mode analog filter, a wave shaper, a delay, a pitch shifter, and a step sequencer that controls the multi-mode analog filter. What makes this plugin different than a lot of other bit crushers out there is that it starts crushing at 8 bits, and you have the ability to mute or invert each bit. The leftmost bit being the least significant bit, and the rightmost bit being the most significant bit, which offers the harshest, most extreme style of crushing. So it's a really unique box. It doesn't really quite sound like any other bit crusher out there. Here we are playing around with inverting and muting various bits. As stated before, the rightmost bit will cause a more drastic effect, and the leftmost bit will be more subtle. You can also engage Biscuit's multi-mode analog filter to roll off the top-end harshness for a more analog sound. The filters can be switched between low pass, high pass, and band pass. The clock reducer reduces the sample rate. It's also important to note that you will get a slightly different sample rate reduction sound depending on which combo of bits you have engaged, muted, or inverted. So by engaging the brain button on the Biscuit, we expand its functionality to add 4 more features. The first of which is a wave shaper, which has 8 different wave shapes. The last 3 shapes also have an envelope on the analog multi-mode filter. The drive knob also dictates how hard the wave shaper is being pushed. The second brain feature is a delay, and it can be tap tempoed or tempo synced to your DAW. When the delay is in tap tempo mode, the Biscuit is capable of the typical splatter frag style delay tricks. But one cool trick is actually adjusting the clock reducer while the delay is running. You kind of get these weird timing glitches that you wouldn't normally be able to get by running a bit crusher into a delay. The third brain feature is a pitch shifter. This pitch shifter is unique because you can't modify the signal in semitones. There's 8 different fixed settings for predetermined harmonic intervals like minor third, major third, perfect fifth, etc. One really unique feature about this pitch shifter is the fact that the timing is dependent on the clock reducer. The further you degrade the signal, the more the timing will drift. And this could potentially be cool for adding swing to drums. The fourth brain feature is a step sequencer that drives the multi-mode analog filter. This step sequencer can also either be tempo synced to your DAW or it can be tap tempoed. And the step sequencer can travel in 4 different directions. It can go forward, forward and backwards, random, and stationary or freeze. Freeze is probably the most useful if you want to stay on a specific step and fine-tune the filter cutoff. It could also be useful in live performance to momentarily create a fill or a stall or an edit. You can also select how many steps you want the sequence to be, how fast the sequence will play, and the cutoff and filter type on each step. That's probably the coolest part about this step sequencer. You can mix low pass, band pass, and high pass all together in the same sequence.
Like any UAD plugin inserted in Ableton, it's super easy to MIDI map. All we have to do is click on the little triangle here. All of Biscuit's parameters will be displayed. I'll select clock and frequency and map those to knobs on the controller, and now we have MIDI control over the Biscuit. If we were using this plugin in a live performance and needed to run something like an arpeggiated synth through it, we can engage this little microphone button, which would put it into low latency mode. The Biscuit is great for adding a little grit to your drums. One cool trick you can do is to use it like a ring modulator. This song is in the key of F minor. We're going to do our best to tune the clock reducer and high pass filter to F. And F5 is about 1396 Hertz. We're going to try to come as close as we can with the clock reducer and high pass filter. It's not perfectly on, but it sounds close and it doesn't sound too out of key. It's a cool little trick that adds some grit to your drums while making them fit musically with the rest of your song. One really interesting sound you can get from the Biscuit is from running something melodic through it. In this case, we'll affect a bass line. When you blend the naked and dressed signals together, you're able to create some really interesting filter sweeps with the clock reducer that you normally wouldn't be able to create with other plugins. There's a unique sounding phaser effect that happens, and you can further accentuate the filter movement by sweeping through the low pass or high pass filter.
So once again, Universal Audio has really hit a home run with the Auto Machines Biscuit. It's a really unique sounding bit crusher and distortion box. There's really nothing else out there like it. The filter sounds extremely analog. It's loud, it's got attitude, it's got character, and we think it's something that will be useful in your arsenal.